Hi, my name is Saurabh Singla. I'm a senior data scientist, and today I'm going to talk on the topic which is demand capacity modeling in NHS for UK. So NHS means National Health Services, and the reason why I have chosen this topic is right now because of pandemics. Maybe one day in hospital patient 200 are coming. Maybe next day they are coming 500. So there is too much randomness, and it is very hard to predict these randomness through machine learning and deep learning, and that's the reason I have chosen this topic: how discrete event simulation can help work on those randomness and bridge the capacity for NHS, how they can build that capacity. So this project I have done in year 2018. So I am going to talk today on this topic. The main agenda for today is introduction and recap. So, what is the problem which is going on right now in NHS? So, I will talk on that. Further, what kind of MRI services are at NHS? What kind of methodology I will adopt to figure out this, solve this problem, and what kind of data sources I'm going to use to fit in the simulation model. And next will be the experiment. What kind of different experiments I'm going to run? I will elaborate on that. Then further will be the demonstration of the simulation. And finally will be the list and the limitation of the simulation model. And later on, I will take questions. So right now, NHS is going through big trouble where their demand and capacity are not matching. And in this study, we have conducted only for radiology department, which is facing a lot of issues. So in UK at the moment, uh, in 2018, 290,000 scans are done countrywide, and the issue is the for the outpatient, the day they took the appointment and the day they go to the get the MRI done, it, this time is up to 6 weeks. So that is the patient waiting time. And NHS, they are trying to figure, they wanted to figure out how this problem can be solved, how they can reduce the waiting time. So that is the big problem right now in NHS. So this is the MRI density by country. If you see UK, it is 7.2 for roughly 1 million people. So this is very low as compared to, you can see countries like Finland, Australia, or even US. So US is roughly doing more than, I believe, 40 million MRI a year, but UK in 2018 they were doing approximately 3.5 million MRI scans a year. So that is the big problem. So the MRI density is very low as compared to other countries. So this you could see they are doing scans, how many scans they are doing. So they are doing for MRI 3.5 million. That is a problem on which we are going to work. So they are doing roughly 290,000 scans a month, and a year they are doing 3.5 million scans. They are in their total imaging, X-rays 22 million, 5.1 million is the CT scan, 3.5. So it is growing on year, but their resources are very constant. Some of their machines are getting old, plus the replacement cost of the machine is very expensive. So they wanted to figure out how can they utilize these resources better to meet the demand. So we are in the next slide, we are going to see what exactly is the, if you see here, this is the, if you see here, this is the demand, actual demand, but this much is the capacity. So right now they are running up to here. So they are using this capacity up to here. But what they wanted was to use extra capacity which they have this much. So if they take this capacity also for the demand at the moment, then the queue always with patient waiting times or the backlogs or the queue or the waiting list, it all goes down. So this is the big thing for them, and we are going to work on how we can increase their capacity. So means how can we increase this capacity? So this is the right now their capacity. How can we increase up to, or if it is their capacity is up to here, can we increase up to here? So how discrete event simulation can help them in figuring out the build that capacity. Let me erase this thing. So, so this is the problem. The first is in the rise in demand of radiology services with limited capacity or the supply of the resources by NHS. That is bringing imbalance, first thing. Second is lot of customers they or patients they are coming in the morning time, so they miss their appointments due to they are caught in the traffic, or it is a single mom, she has to go take their kids to school, or maybe because of unwanted reason they miss their appointment. So they the hospital is giving that resource to the patient, but the patient is unable to come, so this is called no show. And in that case, not imaging but the complete NHS overall, including imaging department, they are it is costing them roughly more than $1 billion a year, and it's a huge cost. And so they wanted to know how can we overcome this problem of no show. Next is, out of these the outpatients who book for vital scans, half of them have to wait for more than 6 weeks. So they are investing a lot of money in this. In for last 5 years, they have their investment has doubled, but still they are unable to reduce the patient waiting time. And the supply of resources are very static, since this is a very capital intensive MRI machines are, so supplies are very static, and the rise of these demands of scans, because people want day by day they are getting more health conscious, they want better healthcare system expectation as a UK citizen, so which is resulting to lot of uh, building up the backlog. And over the over the last decade, if I have shown you in the graph also, since 2013, there is a demand increase by approximately 10%. So year on year, there is a growth. But supply was, that growth is not happening. So that is the reason the mismatch is happening. And recent, because of COVID-19, just giving you example, roughly 850,000 CT MRI scans were meant to be carried out, but they were not done. Second, 350,000 MRI scan has been postponed each month. So these are also building up the backlog, and it is putting a lot of pressure on the capacity of NHS, and they want some kind of a solution where the patient waiting time can meet the government expectations. So these are the problems. So this is the object. If you see right now, inpatient, which are hospitalized or emergency, which are critical patients, they can access this MRI services 24 by 7. But for outpatient, in all their CCGs, clinical clinical groups of NHS, they can only access outpatient, they can only access between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on appointment. So first is this thing. Second is what are the problem is what are the demand and capacity implication of changing the operating hours of MRI from for outpatient from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. to 24 hours. So they were having a thought, if we in, change their time to 24-hour access. So they wanted to see how is their demand and capacity are going to change. Is it going to bring down the backlog? Is it going to bring down? And second thing, how is their capacity is going to handle it? And second was, what are the key reasons for building these backlogs for outpatients? Because for access for inpatient and emergencies are always 24, but for outpatient, what are the reason for increasing these backlogs? And what we learned after doing research is we tried to see, okay, whether machine learning can help or whether statistical modeling, all are part of data science. And even discrete event simulation is also part of uh, is even part of data science. So we wanted to, but the thing is with discrete event simulation, you can figure out non-linearity, which is very sometimes hard to figure out, or because of this randomness. And so we are using discrete event simulation to simulate the demand of these MRI services, where we'll be running different scenarios, one for 8 hours, 16 hours, 24 hours. Then we will be running, okay, changing different variants as per what good things are happening around the world. So we are going to incorporate those changes and see whether it is helping them utilize their resources better. Second thing, how whether second is how whether their outpatients are getting more throughout the system. So we are going to work on that aspect. So this is the conceptual model which we came with. So patient enters and it goes to the reception, and from the reception it goes to the queue room. So in the queue room, the radiographer comes and picks him or her from there to the MRI room, and where MRI is done, and further it is taken to radiologists or the consultant, which do interpretation of the report, and finally the patient leaves the system. So that is the basic first model, which is much more giving you overview of this model. In the so demand, patient type. This is the clerk utilization. What are the queues building up? What is the radiographer utilization? What is the radiologist utilization? And how many MRI scans are done? So this also we are going to take here. And next is, okay, so what is the total time the outpatient has spent in the system from the day from the end from the patient entry to the exit? So this is much more deep dive into the process mapping. So how it works. So here, if you see, patient arrives here And what we are assuming is, as per the NHS data, they have done some kind of data research. So 50% of the demand of the daytime and 25% for the night time. So this is the patient arrival. If it is a if the patient has the appointment, which is the outpatient, it goes here to the check-in. So this is the queue. It has the maximum capacity of 20. Then there is an inpatient which doesn't need appointment, these two. So they can go, if you see here, they can go directly. Yep. So this queue, and now if you see this thing, so they wait here. Then there are four radiographers for the daytime, three for the evening, and two for the night. And we made an assumption of 90% of the resources are available. And the MRI reading capacity is 25, reading room. So queue capacity is 25. So basically what is done is, this is the waiting room where they come. So from here, they come here. So they change their clothes. So radiographer pick them up, takes to the MRI procedure done by a radiographer. So MRI, if it is successful, MRI reading room. So they are moved to the reading room process. So if you see here, MRI scans reviewed by radiologists. So in this, as per the UK standard, they have kept it as 3 days for interpretation. So we were being told not to take this into the consideration. So after that, patient checkout, and here we allocated resource for one for each shift, which is at the consultant. So this is the process mapping of the MRI services. So this is the basic methodology we use. So we understand the problem, then we spoke to the different stakeholders. We conceptualize that model which you have seen. In the next stage, we gathered the data, which is coming in the next slide, and then we tried to use some statistical modeling on this to see how we can fit that data on the simulation. This to just to check the goodness of fit of the data. Here the data is fit into simulation, and when the simulation is run, then in here we validate against the real data whether it makes sense, and then we experimented with different the scenarios with different variables, and when we get that output, then we compare all the scenarios and we say, okay, which scenario number 9 is better than scenario number 8. So these are the basic. So right now the MRIs are available in 135 CCGs. We took the average of some CCGs are doing less scans, some are doing more scans a month. So we took a average of how many scans they are doing monthly. So we are using average monthly for single CCG, that is on country level. So through this, and CCGs are basically different groups which are available in county who are responsible to take care of that particular county. So there might be 4 CCGs in one county or maybe more. So this is the data of February 2018, which we took of NHS, and we calculated the inter-arrival time. So what is the different time the patients are arriving? So this data was for the whole month because we wanted to figure out the monthly pattern first, uh, weekly pattern, hourly pattern, and then when we fit that in the statistical modeling, we figure out Pearson for 5 distribution was the best, which was able to capture that non-linearity in the data. And there are few research paper also which also suggested the same thing. So yeah, so we validated that. So this is the demographic. 92% of the patient shows up, but 8% doesn't show up. Second is out of the total patient, 57%, so majority is outpatient, and the rest 43% is inpatient and emergency patients. So that is the scenario. Majority is always outpatient. So here, if you see 50 out of that 43%, 56% is by inpatients and 44% by emergency patients. And the age distribution is 40. If you see 20 to 39 is the one which is the major contributor. Then comes 40 to 59, and then comes 60 to 79. So not in this case study, but in the another case study, which was the further version of this, when that because old people take more time, so we have put those minute things also in the simulation, saying okay, old people take more time, their reaction time is slow, so they are going to take more time for MRI scan as compared to who's younger, who is going to take less time. So the gender distribution is again 58% women and 42% men. And earlier, as I said, dedicated resources were always allocated for emergency patients. So they don't need to go through the queue, they can go directly. So demand of evening and night was provided by NHS. And how can we optimize the resources? So we have incorporated resource pooling. So resource pooling means the radiographer goes to the waiting room to pick up the patient. But in our next case study, we have used resource pooling in much more detail, where we wanted these resources, if they are not getting utilized at that particular time, they can be utilized in some other way. And according to our assumption, we are saying, okay, they are available 90% of the time. So MRI machines are 90% time available. They don't have any issues. Same with staff. They are available 90% of the time in the system. So the 4 radiographers are for the morning, and 3 for evening, and 2 for night. And clerks are 1 for each shift, and consultants are 1 again for each. So these are the service distribution when we try to figure out. Some we got from NHS, some we got from different external sources. So MRI service time is always normal distribution, and waiting room time always follow this thing, which is which is a triangular distribution. MRI reading room, where the interpretation is done of the reports. This is the distribution. So I will not go deep into the distribution. And the reception service is always exponential distribution. So for inpatient, they are going to take more time as compared to outpatient. So this is again referred through few research paper and a few hospitals across the world to put this data. And second, with emergency patient, they take more time. So these details were incorporated in the simulation. So if you see here, MRI waiting room, MRI per patient. These are the distribution which we refer to Jensen, and then we have a report interpretation time, patient arrival time, and these are the service time which we got uh, through different sources and which are referred also here. And reception processing time, MRI service time for outpatient, inpatient, and how they varies. So preparation time is including in the waiting area time, and this is the second assumption. And our outpatient, we always assume they are coming with appointment. Emergency, no doubt they are always given priority, and the radiographer take the patients from the waiting room. So after fitting all these things, we run that simulation for 1 month, and first 1/10 of that month is always warm up period, so we don't include that period. And to get that result, we have run it for 46 runs, and this is for random sampling, just to have randomness. So this is Pearson 5, which we applied. We also checked the distribution of the data and how Pearson can help to fit that data. So these are the different experiments which we run. So we run first outpatient only with the same current scenario, which is 9 to a.m. to 5 p.m. and rest outpatients, inpatients and emergency, they are working, they can come 24 hours. So this is the distribution which we fit, and inpatient and emergency run 24 hours. This is the one. In the next one, we run it for 16 hours, keeping this distribution of Pearson 5 for outpatient, and this one again inpatient and emergency for 24. But in this one we are running it for 24 hours, so we are not making any changes, only changing the time for outpatient. All things remain same. These are the first three scenarios, and in this scenario we tried to change the MRI service time with the triangular minimum 10 minutes and 33 and by maximum by 120. So again we are changing the MRI service time. Again these are referred through different hospitals and different researchers material. So all things are only we are changing the time, service time. So in this case, scenario 7, because of no show, we started, we have referred to few research paper and we found out the problem. So we can do two patients booking at the beginning of morning, afternoon and evening shifts. And in the scenario 8, we kept all those things same, but we add on more thing, which is no show, just overbooking. And another way of do of no booking is more patients at start and less at the end of the hour. So this one also we try. In this we give exclusive resourcing, exclusive one machine of MRI to emergency and no show with more patients. So these are the things which we incorporated in scenario 9. And in 10 and 11 we give again exclusive resources for emergency and rest three machines for inpatient and outpatient exclusive blocks. Plus no show overbooking, we are giving the same thing. And in the scenario 11 we are changing staff, otherwise we are keeping pretty much all those things. So in this we are using for outpatient 8 hours this distribution, experiment number 1. Experiment number 2 we are using this. For MRI these are the different service time we are using, and then we are using for no show these two scenarios. And in this we are giving exclusive resources for emergency, but in next one we are giving exclusive resources for emergency and inpatients. And in last we further incorporate, so all are referred through different books or research papers. So this is the real simulation which we ran, where no show is here, outpatient entrance, inpatient and emergency entrance. This is their queue, this is their reception, waiting, this is the clerk, radiographer, senior consultant, MRI, and these are their exits. So the results show, if you see, clerk utilization is very good in 60. Same with radiographer utilization. Consultant utilization also increased here. Emergency numbers pretty much, inpatient only thing is exit. The numbers are extremely good here as compared to 1676 here. If you see here, reading, it has increased dramatically here as compared to scenario 3. And MRI reading queue times, but reception queue time is building up in scenario 8, and plus queue is building up here. Otherwise, it is giving you very good sense that the resources are getting better utilized here, but patient time in the system increases here. That is the issue. But if you see here, we slide down, uh, patient time in the system is less, and there is more scans are done. Scenario or scenario 10. So if you see here, outpatient number increases here, and scenario 3 it is good, but here these are the ones which are 8, 9, 10, 11 are the ones which are utilizing more good outpatient numbers are increasing. If you see, average queue time is building up here. That is the big issue. But if you see here, the number, but the queue doesn't build up. So the patient throughout time in the system, outpatient time is here far better in these 9, 10, 11, but here is the issue. Numbers are good, more scans are done, but the problem is with the 7 is much better as compared to. And how many outpatients are getting outpatient exit numbers are here. Again, this is good. Average time. So we need to see the average time also. So these are the ones. Only issue is this one. Scenario 9, 10, 11 make much better as compared to scenario 8 because here outpatient average time in the system increases dramatically. So the average demand, the data on average was per CCG was 2089, and through running this simulation, we were able to gauge 90%, same similarity as what as per the real data. And the model was validated again on March and April just to see whether the simulation was making any sense or not. So then we checked statistically whether all the means of all the scenarios are different, just to check. how they behave. So basically, DES helped reduce patient time in backlog from 6 weeks to 4 weeks, and better resource usage and better understanding of the capacity and demand. And scenarios in which resources are idle, patients were treated, slowly, except except I could say scenario 8. So this it demonstrated with the increased outpatients, the more MRI scan utilization is better, and even consultation utilization is better. And this way we can increase throughout by matching it. So we can increase the capacity according to the demand, and it also help them understand their current services. And in on top of that current services, we have experimented with different other variations which are done across the world in different scenarios. So there is, if you see less patient time in the system with increase of more outpatient in the system, where more scans are done are in scenario 9, 10, and 11. So the limitation is we were given very limited data, but in the second stage of the project we were given more data, and yeah. So this case study is more focused on only MRI rather than the whole radiology, which is consists of CT scans or X-rays. And we have not taken into consideration the report reading time, which is 3 days. So we have not taken that thing into the consideration, because our motive was to more look at the MRI reading, MRI scan time. So I would recommend to use discrete and agent-based modeling to identify. This is my recommendation to better plan and identify the cost. In this case study is more on finding the bottlenecks and how we can match demand with capacity according to resources. But second is to identify the cost, and it can be identified through hybrid model, or it could be done through agent-based modeling. In agent, the human behavior interacts, so which we study. So these are my recommendations. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer your question. I'm happy to give give answers to your questions. And thank you.